All right. Okay, good morning, everybody. Welcome to 1 Million Cups. Happy 1 Million Cups Wednesday. My name is Tyler DeMars. I'm with CTB. I'll be your MC today. First question I have for you is, how many newcomers do we have here today? How many first-timers? Cool. Keep your hands raised if you are also a UMary alumni. Okay, very nice, very nice. Great to have you here. First thing we'd like you to do, especially if you are new to 1 Million Cups, is download our app. So there's a 1 Million Cups app you can download. You can check in there. That allows us to track who's here, gives us some numbers to report to the Kauffman Foundation, who's a primary partner on 1 Million Cups. Also keeps you in the loop on what's coming up on our 1 Million Cup stage. So with that app, you get notifications on who's speaking next and what the 1 Million Cup schedule looks like. So please take the time to download that app and check in. Next up, our sponsors we need to thank. 1 Million Cups is organized by a volunteer team of about 9 of us, but we do have rent to pay for this facility. We pay for coffee, and these sponsors allow us to do that. We actually have a new sponsor today. I would like to introduce Newt from SCORE, who just came on this last month as a 1 Million Cup sponsor.
Well, good morning. Today we have Marcia Lemke and Richard Hansen, and I'm Newt Bach, and we're SCORE mentors. SCORE is a national organization. We volunteer our services to help businesses get started or to sell your business. So there's about 10,000 volunteers and 300 chapters in the United States. And we operate under SBA. That's where we get some of our funding. So anyway, what's pretty attractive is we have a lot of professional retired people. Our services are free and confidential, and we partner with banks and SBA and a lot of other organizations. So we're just here to help sponsor this, and we enjoy working with people and helping their businesses get started. So, and we have a contribution here for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Newton. Thank you, SCORE, for supporting 1 Million Cups. Putting that check in my pocket now. Here we go. All right, so what is 1 Million Cups? Why is it worthy of support? So 1 Million Cups is a free weekly program where we put an entrepreneur, maybe a nonprofit leader, some kind of community builder on stage to tell the story of what they're trying to do to support them. We ask inquisitive, curious, supportive, and critical questions of them. Ultimately, we want to see them succeed. And if they're not going to succeed, maybe even fail faster, fail forward, iterate. Keep moving their business forward, keep moving their project forward. And that's really what 1 Million Cups is about, supporting entrepreneurs to make Bismarck, Mandan the best community we can have to live in. One way we do this, too, is through social media. So if you are a Tweeter, Facebook user, Instagram user, please use the hashtag 1MCND. We like to light up social media every Wednesday morning if we can. During the Q&A session, if you don't like a mic in your hand but have a question to ask, you can also use that hashtag on Twitter to ask a question, and Lakin, who's monitoring social media, will ask it for you. All right? All right, what else do we have? So, community announcements. Any community announcements this morning?
Oh, yes, thank you. So please mark your calendars for Tuesday, September 17th. We are having our 3rd annual Disrupt Well Summit. And if you've never been, it is not to be missed. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things that are coming, or some that are already here, that are disrupting our lives, whether it be our industry, our personal lives. We're talking AI, cybersecurity, blockchain. There's going to be an ATM where you can buy Bitcoin if you've been curious about what that's all about. We're going to have mixes of speakers, but we're going to have some great discussions. Both our panelists are going to have a chance to discuss. You're going to have a chance to discuss and engage on topics. And we even have a little engineering sort of activity planned for you. So please mark it on your calendar.
Okay, Game Changer Ideas Festival is happening October 5th. Our theme is American Dream. We've got Nate Boyer, Aparna Nanchula, Casey Gerald, Kate Bischoff, and Mark Trehant taking the stage, and those are all kinds of cool people. You can learn more about them at GameChangerND.com. We also have tickets on sale at Ferguson Books and more, and we're looking for volunteers. So if you want to throw out a poster or a coaster, you can get another discount code, or if you want to put the shirt on Game Changer Day and help us wrangle all of these speakers, we'd appreciate it. But it's going to be a cool day talking about the American dream. So there's all kinds of fun things to do on the website. Go there. Get me some traffic. Okay, thanks.
All right. We also have these great little 1 million cups to-go mugs up here. They're coffee mugs. Great for coffee. Also, I've said it before, the perfect size for tea, which is hard to find a to-go mug, which is great for tea as well. So we're giving these away this morning, but to get one, you have to do one of three things. First, you have to come to the front of the stage, okay, right down here, and you can either say, what brought you to 1 million cups, why you like coming here? You can give a shout out to somebody in the room and gift them the mug. Actually, two things. I only had two things there. Sorry. And I'm going to do one for sure. But be thinking about this, what you want to come up to, what story or what shout out you want to give to get one of these mugs. But I have somebody who we need to give a mug to. So last week we had TEDx Bismarck, which is an awesome event. We had 10 speakers, 5 musical performers, 3 artists, 4 food vendors. It was just a really good day at the Heritage Center here in North Dakota. We also had one incredible MC, Kayla Schmidt. Kayla MC'd so hard last week, we were worried she injured her MCL. But, I know, thank you. My best stuff this morning, my best stuff. She did a phenomenal job. Kayla, you have an incredible way of being your awesome self in front of a room. You added so much to the event, and thank you so much. Good job. All right, so we got 2 left up here. Who's coming with me? Awesome.
My name's Adam. I'm the head wrestling coach at UMary. I'm here to support Austin Eichmann. He's one of my wrestlers at UMary, and he's here to be a sounding board. And what I want to say a special thank you to him for is Jerome Richter is going to be releasing the strategic plan here, talking about that. And he's lived it, and so that's why I think he's a great representative for our program in this university. So I want to give him a cup if that's possible.
Awesome. One more. Oh, we got Brian. Good.
So shout out to a guest who probably came to us from the furthest distance away today, Joe Woodward. He is coming to us from Kansas, and he is with a program called Youth Entrepreneurs. And I'm going to let him say anything that he wants about it, but thanks for coming all the way to North Dakota, and welcome.
Thank you, Brian. That's so kind. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, good morning, everyone. Pleasure to be here. I think we're here, the same as you, celebrating how entrepreneurship makes communities and the world a better place. So as we think about that, not only do our businesses that driving force, but the entrepreneurial spirit in each individual. So that's kind of our MO. We teach high school business classes across the country, and our goal is even for somebody who doesn't start a business, we want them to have that entrepreneurial mindset with how do I take my innate abilities, develop them into something useful to offer my neighbor in a way that also benefits myself. So pleasure to be with you. Would love to see 20 high school classes across the country over the coming years, and really happy to be in North Dakota. Thanks for having us.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, you notice we also have some UMary mugs up here, and we're not giving these away now, but afterwards, Tina from the University of Mary is with us. Tina, would you mind just standing up so everybody can see you real quick? Okay, and she is alumni relations. Am I getting that right? Yeah, okay. Tina's Director of Alumni Relations with the University of Mary. If you come and ask her some questions, connect with her, ask her about what's going on for UMary alumni and other things on campus, first 3 that do so will get one of these awesome UMary mugs up here. So talk to Tina afterwards. All right, without further ado, it's time to introduce our speaker today. So the University of Mary is launching a new Greatness Through Virtue approach to working with student athletes. Please give a warm 1 Million Cups welcome to Jerome Richter, UMary Vice President of Public Relations.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Jaden, don't let me yell at him too loud. You guys can hear me well? Excellent. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with you. Just paying attention to the introduction from Tyler. Thank you, Tyler. I was reading through the descriptions of 1 Million Cups, and I saw that this is for startups, for new businesses, new entrepreneurs, new ideas. And I said to myself, the University of Mary is 60 years old. We're not exactly a startup. But what the sisters have done since 1878 and with the University of Mary is always being innovative and entrepreneurs. And yesterday, we did something that is, if you will, a startup. We created and we started a new strategic plan for athletics, which is named Greatness Through Virtue. So it actually is very timely. It's perfect. I was talking with Tyler just a little bit earlier, and he's like, so how long was it that you guys launched this strategic plan? Was this like a year ago? I said, yesterday. And he's like, oh, that works well. So some of you maybe had the chance to read the Tribune. There's a beautiful article in there, but there's a lot to it. And I know that I don't have a lot of time, and so I want to get right to it to help you to understand what we're after. And so, as you can see the name here, Greatness Through Virtue, you'll see this as we come back to it. Why? Why are we launching a new strategic plan? Because as you and I both know, there's a problem in athletics. There's a problem with sports. There is something happening that in you and me, when we watch games and we see things that are happening around some athletic events, we get appalled. We say, and why do we do this? We also come to realize that when you drive through a major city like Minneapolis, St. Paul, or anywhere else, you say, what are the new cathedrals today? They're sports stadiums. On any given Saturday, how many people are in a stadium across the United States of America? A lot. There's something wrong, but we also know that there's something very good in sports. Isn't this an amazing picture? I love this picture. Why? Because you can see the violence that's happening, and yes, it's hockey, and we know hockey is a little bit violent, but look at this guy. What's his name? Bravest, and he's out on the edges. I'm brave, but I'm not getting in there. Fans punching each other in the face over a football game and maybe a spilt beer. I don't know. Whole stadiums turning into riots. People being trampled. Lives being lost over a bunch of people running around kicking a ball. There is a problem. There's a problem in our culture. There's a problem that we build upon and we play upon. You guys have all seen Happy Gilmore, right? And I'm not going to sound out the last word, but you know what's going on there. The price may not be wrong, but something is wrong. And this is what we're focusing on. And there's a simple answer to it, but a very hard-fought solution. The answer to all of this is virtue. Virtue and teaching virtue is the answer. But we first and foremost need to get our ducks in a row and figure out where we went wrong. How many of you guys know who Vince Lombardi is? Right? There's a trophy named after him. It's a very prominent trophy. It is the largest sports program in the nation, especially professionally, American football. The Vince Lombardi Trophy is the Super Bowl winner. Vince Lombardi is famously coined for having said something that he regretted for the rest of his life. And he actually tried to downplay it. He quoted somebody else who said this, "Winning isn't everything, it's the only thing." And later in life he said, "That is not what I meant. Yes, I said that," but he forgot a word. He said, "Winning isn't everything, willing to win is the only thing." And that's actually okay. But here's the most important thing, and this is what our strategic plan is about. Many of you played sports, whether it's in grade school, high school, maybe some of you in college, and you always knew that there was this false dichotomy that was happening. We're supposed to be learning something, but we're supposed to be beating each other up. Well, how does that work? I know that we can't just get a participation ribbon and feel good about it, but at the same time, it really stinks when somebody's always a loser. So how does this work? You reorder things. If things are not in order, they are disordered. Athletics, everyone, is disordered. That doesn't make athletics bad. It means we need to wake up and reorder athletics so that it's serving the purpose that it was intended to be from the very start. And let me walk you through this. The objective of sport, any sport, is to win. Guys, if you're playing sports, that's got to be what you're focusing on. That's got to be the objective. Walk into any wrestling room, basketball court, swimming pool, whatever, and say, "You know what? We're just here to have fun and try hard." And they're all like, "Lame." If you're going to be a coach, you're not going to get very far because you're missing the whole point of it. It is to win. But what is its purpose? Yet one must separate the objective of the game from its purpose. While the objective of the game is to win, the purpose of the game is to develop and reveal character. Let me tell you a story to add on to this. I had the privilege of teaching and coaching for 11 years, both in the secondary level and then a little bit at the collegiate level. Young people are looking for us to help them in this, and it works. And then I've seen it played out in others, like Coach Aho, who you saw stand up here. The story is this. Coach Aho, and I'm so happy to have you here, Coach, he asked me, because I was a wrestler growing up, coached wrestling, he said, "Can you come into the room and just talk to the guys? You're this vice president guy, they don't get to meet the administration. Come in and talk to them." I said, "Absolutely, I would love to." And I said, "What do you want me to say?" And he's like, "Just give them a little pep talk, I don't know." So I came in, walk into the wrestling room, they're in practice. And they're in full exertion, they're all sweaty, they're tired. Coach says, "Get over here." They all grab a knee, they kneel down. And I looked at them, I said, "Gentlemen, let's get something straight. As a Marauder, as a scholarship wrestler here at the University of Mary, your job is to win. Your job is to win. But the reason you do this and the purpose for you doing this is to become a better man. And if you're not becoming a better man because of what you're going on in this room and in this school, then you can leave. Because if you're not becoming a better person and you win, you've gained nothing. And we've seen that happen, haven't we? We've seen people that are super talented athletically that turn into very, very bad people. But the problem with our culture is we say we're okay with that. As long as you win, you can be that person. And the University of Mary is saying today and every day forward, and we always have, we're saying it more intentionally, that's not okay. Now, I leave there, Coach Aho and the boys thanked me, and it was great to be with them. But here's where it sunk in deep. 2 months later, we have a Marauders luncheon. They're focusing on wrestling because it's coming up to the regional tournament, and our wrestling team is good. And who was asked to speak? One of the seniors. His name was Noah Huff. Noah Huff gets up to speak, and I didn't know this kid really. I heard he's a good young man. he got up and he said, everyone, it's an honor and a privilege to be here, and I want to thank everybody here for my chance to compete in wrestling and to be here at the University of Mary. But I want you to know something. I've never made the varsity team. 4 years, he sweat and bled. And guys, wrestling isn't easy. He worked there. He sweat. He traveled. He did all this. And he said, I got to my senior year, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to make the team again. What was the point of all this? And this isn't to brag me up, but this is providential. Then he said these words that hit me hard. He said, then Jerome Richter walked into the wrestling room one day. And he said, guys, your job is to win. But if you're not becoming a better man through this, then you're missing the point. He said, after Mr. Richter said that, everything made sense to me. That the 4 years that I was part of the UMary wrestling program had hit the purpose of it. And all that effort and all that strategy was right. Because I am a better man today. And I know how to sacrifice. And I know how to be a teammate. And I know how to work with others. That's what we want, everyone. The same way that I can say to my son who's a senior in high school today, yeah, you're not very good as an athlete, but you're part of a team, and you can learn the virtue from it. And what is virtue, everyone? This is a question that so many people ask. We've lost the language. What is virtue? It's simply this, guys. It's the habitual choosing of the good. There are a number of virtues. But what is a virtue? To habitually choose what is good. And why is athletics such a great place to teach this? Because what do you have to do in athletics? You have to do it well every time, all the time, inside and outside of practice, the game, whatever it is. So if you're a basketball player, how many times do you practice shooting a free throw? Thousands of times to get it right every time. We can also do this when it comes to morality and our choices. We can train the will to choose what is good. And athletics gives you that opportunity to do it. What are the 6 virtues that we're going to be teaching? There's 6 Benedictine values, so we stuck with the number 6, and we're going with 6 virtues to focus on for our athletic strategic plan. Number 1, humility. Coach Lennon said this beautifully, and I don't want to mess it up, beautifully yesterday. He said, humility is not thinking less of yourself. It is you thinking about yourself less. Does that make sense? It's not about you. Remember the University of Mary's motto? It's not about you. It's about who you were created to be and what you should be doing. And this is what we want to do. So humility. The one that matches that and complements so beautifully is magnanimity. Greatness of soul. That's why we say greatness through virtue. That is our end, to be great. Great how? Measured by what matters. Okay? Then you have the 4 cardinal virtues. Prudence, which would be wisdom, would be a translation. Best way to describe prudence is this: doing the right thing at the right time in the right place. Right? Always telling the truth, doing the right thing at the right time in the right place. Prudence. Next one is justice. Giving the other person their due. Giving the other person their due. And we, at the University of Mary, believing in what we believe, what do we owe the other person? Everything. Respect, kindness, dignity, courtesy, honesty, etc. Then the next one after that is you have temperance, which gives you the gift of moderation. And then the last one, which athletics really helps with, is courage, fortitude, the strength to stand in front of opposition and not waver, not to be violent, but to be strong and stand in front of opposition. Then we start producing people like this. Michael Gorder, basketball player, 4.0 student, first engineering graduate, and volunteers helping out special needs kids. You don't take athletes and have them serve special need kids, and then I think it's just going to magically, all of a sudden, they're going to turn into perfect citizens. You form them, you teach them why this matters, and then you give them the opportunity to serve. The service is the end result of the formation of character. And you get a football team to walk across the ditches picking up the garbage. because they know that they have to give back. It's their duty to give back. And that is what we want to do. And in this, which we're going to hand out to you, you'll be able to read through to see all the different things that we're going to do, the core strategies that we're going to follow to make this happen. And if you would have listened to Coach Lennon and Monsignor yesterday, you would have heard in their voices the commitment to this. We love athletics when it's done rightly. And we will support our athletes, and we will support our coaches, and we're going to support our Scholar athletes top to bottom to make this happen. With that, I want to ask our two athletes that are here to come up with me so that you can ask them any questions that you have and naturally ask us as well. The young man walking up here is Austin Eichmann, who is a senior in wrestling. And then we have a young lady by the name of Sarah Hagland, who is our swimmer, who is in your she's a junior year. And were you part of the very first class of swimming? No, 1 year. So we have a swim team that's been here for a few years. We started our hockey program last year. But they're here if you have a question for them or for me. Go ahead and fire away.
Great. Well, first let's hear it for Jerome Richter. Huh? The great.
Thank you.
Okay.
Should we sit?
And we'll got some seats up here, so we're late on the seats, but we can have a chair there, guys. So if you have any questions, Kate's running mic today, so raise your hand and she will get you a mic. I'll get us started here. Kind of a question from an organizational level. Usually when there's a strategic planning process that takes place or instigated, sometimes that comes from a crisis, sometimes there's a certain incident, there's underperformance in some way that stems from. At the University of Mary, what was the catalyst for this strategic planning process or seeing something was awry and wanting to go a different direction?
Tyler, God bless you, and thank you for that question, and I failed to frame it appropriately. In 2014, the Board of Trustees unanimously approved what we call Vision 2030, which is our overall University of Mary strategic plan. And already, in our Vision 2030 strategic plan, we focus specifically in one of the areas on relationship on athletics. And so this wasn't something out of a crisis, thank you. All right, we've always been proud of what has been happening in Marauders Athletics. It's not as though there was something happening there. This was a part of a greater whole. And then it started to come down, and then in 2017, the commissioner of the Northern Sun Intercollegiate Conference challenged all the presidents that they should have a specific athletic strategic plan for each of their universities. And Monsignor smiled and said, we're already on that. And then now with the leadership of Dale Lennon and with Vision 2030 coming to fruition, it was perfect timing for us to say, here's what we want to do. And so that's how it came out.
Thank you. I think question for the student athletes here, I guess, when you were making your decision about what school you want to go to, what was it about the University of Mary that ultimately influenced you to choose to be a Marauder? And if you could just say what program you're in, maybe where you're from real quickly too.
All right, so I'm Sarah, and I'm from Rochester, Minnesota. I'm a junior. I'm in the nursing program right now. And so what really made me chose the University of Mary was I wanted a place where I could swim, and I wanted to be in the healthcare field. And UMary, with all the faculty and with our coach, our previous coach, Alan.
We're gonna get you a new one, I promise.
Yeah. He was very open to everything and very willing to work with the busy schedule of everything. And I really liked the team atmosphere. Everyone got along really well, and I liked the connection that everyone had together. And when I was there, it really felt like when I visited, it felt like home. It felt like a place that I really wanted to be and a place that I could really grow and thrive through my college years.
I'm Austin. I'm from Hastings, Minnesota. I'm going to be a PE teacher in about 1.5 years, so that'll be pretty cool. Teach kids how to gym. The reason I came here was, so I have some pretty deep roots. Aho, my brother coached with him 2 years before I was here. I really didn't even want to wrestle in college, but My brother convinced me to come up for like my spring break senior year. Yeah, super fun. Come hang out with your brother. But I came up and he's like, hey, do you want to hang out with the wrestling team? I was like, why not? Let's just see how it goes. And then from hanging out with them and talking with Coach Aho, I realized that coming here is going to make me a better man and also give me probably my best opportunity to become as best as I can at wrestling. So.
Right, thank you. Thank you. We got a question up front here.
Hi, loved your presentation.
Thank you.
Quick question. So I'm a process person, so I'm interested in the process that you use to develop the strategic plan. So, did you bring in, you shared where some of the virtues came from, and I appreciate that, bringing that source in. Did you benchmark other programs? Did you involve some of the student athletes, or could you speak just a bit about that process?
Again, another great question. So Monsignor is challenged to put together this athletic strategic plan for the university. Again, we were already kind of thinking these things and in the process because of Vision 2030. And so months after that challenge, we had a full athletic department meeting down in Pierce, South Dakota. So if you read through this, you're gonna hear about it. So they went down, every coach, with the new athletic director being Coach Lennon, and Monsignor set his vision and said, if we want to be what we all want to be, we want to be great, I believe that we need to do this. And it wasn't like he laid out a plan. He simply said we need to come together, we need to talk about a strategic plan, and we need to focus on how we're going to serve our students, which is always our focus. And out of that then were born 6 different committees, I believe it is. And then we involved everyone from the community, alumni. We had one gentleman by the name of Matthew Davidson, who was an outside resource that we could rely on to gauge us and to guide us. But most of it came from our students, our staff, our alumni, our supporters, and through these committees, probably 200 and some different people involved, digging deep into these issues of health and well-being for our students. What is academic excellence for a scholar athlete? What is athletic excellence with the full vision behind it? So it was all told, a 2-year process from start to finish, but of the real sausage making, if you want to call it of that, would have been probably the last year. Yeah.
Question back there.
Again, great presentation. I loved just like from a vision casting perspective, it reminds me of Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why. There's a lot of that kind of threaded throughout, so thank you for that. My question is, could you talk about the role of kind of how do you establish the culture, amongst the teams? And then specifically, how do you handle somebody who's not a culture fit with this vision? How do you handle that person with grace and truth, and just talking through the process of kind of safeguarding that culture when there's 1 or 2 who may not be bought in?
Beautiful. You're asking one of the great questions of leadership and planning. You've probably all heard this, but I will say it, and I don't even know who to give credit to, but I heard it first from Monsignor Shea. Culture eats strategy for lunch every day, all the time. Culture eats strategy for lunch every day. We are building a culture on the foundation of a culture with a strategy to have a full culture. A lot of culture, no yogurt, okay? What is our culture? It is what the sisters have given us. It is the Benedictine values. It is our heritage. That is our foundation. That is who we're most deeply called to be. So you talk about the why. When you get all the way back, for us as a Christian Catholic Benedictine university, it's eternity. That's our why. Now you process that forward and you say, in athletics, what do we want to be? This. And it starts ultimately with leadership. And I can tell you this, and again, I wish you were there yesterday. If you would have saw Coach Lennon give his presentation, this is who we're going to be. Then it's going to go to the head coaches, and you meet somebody like Coach Aho, and you know that this is going to happen. And then you meet somebody like a team captain, and you say this is going to happen. So now let's imagine Johnny walks in to the football program at the University of Mary, the tennis program, whatever the person is, a young lady comes for the volleyball. if they have none of this in them or even desiring it, it's our job to awaken that desire and to show them through culture and through language and through objectivity that this is something that is expected. Somebody who's going to come in who has no respect for people, doesn't ever want to, they're not going to fit. And they'll be able to sense that in our culture. But let's be honest, everyone. Everybody wants to belong. Everybody wants truth. Everybody wants to be loved. Everybody wants to grow in virtue. And so that is what we're offering, and that's what we'll always do.
I have a question for the student athletes. If someone's coming to you thinking about coming to the University of Mary, how do you describe the difference? How do you describe this to them? They're like, hey, I'm thinking about coming here playing, X sport. How do you point this out to them? Or is there a specific example of where you see this in your life and you can point out that it's more than athletics?
So what the wrestling team usually does to show how great UMary actually is we show them how we have a great community of wrestlers. We have they're great people. It's kind of like a family. Plus on the campus, there's ways to grow around your faith, your social life, your academics as well. Everything is just, it all wraps together and works together and makes you a better person. So I think that kind of is what drives people to want to come and be a part of UMary.
So with the swim team, I guess when we have recruits come to visit us, we really try to have we always have a good team atmosphere, but when they're there, we try to be aware of it and let them know about what we're about and what we're striving for and our goals and how we want to learn and grow together as a team and how we want to be one and we want to win and everything like that. So that's what we really strive for, and just to make them feel at home and make them feel like they do belong to the team and that they will be a part of the team and that they want to be a part of what we want to strive for and everything. Yeah.
If I could add to that, Kate, Vision 2030, its title is Education for Life. Education for life. This is one aspect of it, but it's never separated from the rest. We do not compartmentalize our lives. As our world is trying to tell us, you have your personal life here, you have your professional life here, you have your social life here, you have your church life here. No, they got to be speaking to each other and they got to be one. And so I look at Sarah right now, and as she was speaking, I'm like, she's a perfect example of this. Because every aspect of her education, we're calling her to greatness. She just went over to the Rome campus. She spent a semester over in the Rome campus. And she saw that from history and all that Rome offers, I'm called to greatness too. I'm called to live my life for others. Not just on the swim team, but when she comes back and she's with the swim team, she's like, and this is the way that I'm called to greatness. And then I go to my classroom like Austin is. And Austin, I would call him up to ask him to come here. I said, what are you doing? And he said, I'm at Pride working with kids all summer. I love it. That's what we want. That wrestling, what he's doing for work, what he's volunteering with, all these things are coming together, and at every moment, you're calling yourself to greatness. So, great question.
This question is also for the student athletes. Based on your time and your experiences at the University of Mary, how likely are you to take jobs in the Bismarck-Mandan area or to stay in North Dakota after graduation?
Well, being a nurse and being from Rochester, Mayo Clinic is in Rochester, but actually right now I work at Sanford, and I really like the community that there is at Sanford, and I really like Bismarck. It's actually a lot like Rochester. I like the University of Mary, and I like that it's not just kind of sitting there and we're doing things like this and we're planning things and we're continuing to grow and everything. I really like that, and I like the expanding. I feel like Bismarck and Mandan are both expanding and going in good directions. Yeah.
Growing up, I always wanted to teach and coach wrestling back where I'm from in Hastings, Minnesota. So I already have an in, and yeah, I don't think
Relationships. We talk about relationships too.
Yeah, I won't be sticking around. I don't think it's a lot of things have to go right, but probably not sticking around Bismarck.
I think we got to find him a good Bismarck girl to keep him here.
At least we appreciate the honesty, though, right? You didn't try to pull anything over on us there. Although my sister is a UMary alum, and she's a nursing manager in Minot, so and she needs good nurses. So
There you go.
There's definitely opportunities there. One thing we said that your job is to win, but become a better person through winning or through striving to win. I have a 13-year-old son. I've coached almost every team he's been on, and he likes to collect hardware. His room is full of little trophies and medals, and it's kind of a big deal, whether it's a Super Bowl ring or a green jacket in golf or the Lombardi Trophy, whatever. Has there been any discussion of incentivizing some of these virtues and having almost like, I'm thinking almost similar to what the Boy Scouts do with their medals through that are attributed to these virtues, and that people can accumulate some hardware through this?
Hardware, I don't think so, but absolutely 100% we need to assess it. So how are we going to assess whether or not we're growing in the virtue of humility? That's tough. It's real tough. But you measure all things by its fruits, right? You measure things by its fruits. And I want to go back to your son and give him and yourself and everyone a little bit of freedom here. We are so caught up in the hardware mentality that we almost have to slap ourselves out of it. I grew up in a family of 14 kids, 10 boys. The oldest 4 didn't get to wrestle. The next of us did. 5 of us were state champs. You don't become a state champ without being competitive. But that's also hard. These young people are going through this, and they're starting to say this, and this is what's hard. That's my identity. If I don't win, I am a loser. If I don't win, I'm a nobody. That is not how it's supposed to be. And so I spoke of my son, and I don't want to get into this too much, but my oldest son is a fine young man, but he has not been given the athletic gifts that he would desire. And so he and I have had some very tough conversations, and I've had to say to him what it is that we're saying here. Adam, why are you doing this? I don't care if you win or lose, but I care whether or not you're competing, because the purpose is to make you a better man. But if you're going to sit on the couch and play video games and do nothing with yourself, then you're going to learn virtue a different way, and you're going to get a job, because jobs teach you virtue too. I grew up on a dairy farm. Milking cows teaches you virtue, I promise you. And I can find all kinds of construction work and anything. And so, yes, you want to strive to win, but it also has to be intrinsic. And so if we can talk about the intrinsic purpose of sport, the hardware is simply an outward sign of what is happening interiorly for a greater good, if that makes sense. And so, yes, we're going to have to assess it, and we're going to strive to do that.
Question over here.
Yes, good morning, and thank you for your presentation. I understand that you are focused on UMary, obviously, but might there come a point when you can take this greatness through virtue to entities such as minor league, semi-pro, football, baseball, basketball, hockey? You pick the sport, you will have the curriculum, not necessarily that you have to take to them, but that they can participate in virtually. A lot of those teams may not have the time to have a component of their organization to cover these kinds of things. They're busy trying to help those young men and women develop their skills to hopefully they can move on. And you slip in this along with that.
That I'm going to say very honestly is in the hands of providence. If somebody sees this and recognizes it for what it is and wants us to share it with them, we're not holding back. But right now our focus is on our program to make sure that we have it. We already have the foundations, as I was saying before. It's not like we weren't doing this. But here's something to make the distinction for you. So I was a teacher. blessed to be a teacher, taught for 11 years, and I went to Miss Judy Woodar's who was one of the finest teachers I've ever met in my whole life. She taught me, and then she was my mentor. And I said, Miss Woodars, everybody calls you a master teacher. What is a master teacher? And Miss Woodars said this: it's not only being good at what you do, it's knowing why you're good at what you do. Do you see the distinction? Some people just naturally are gifted. Some people are just naturally gifted at different things. But to both be good and then to know why you're doing it well is when you become a master. And this is what we're doing right now. We're going from good to great. We are already good. Coach Lennon would have told you yesterday that in the Northern Sun, which is the most competitive league in all of Division II, we're number 6 out of 16 teams. If you measure all the sports across the board, we're like 1 point away from 5th, and we're going to be in the top 3 in the next couple years. I truly believe that. That's no small thing. This is NDSU's old league. Right? This is the one that UND and NDSU used to play in, all the big Minnesota State schools, etc. We have to know how to do what we're doing that is good and to do it better to become great. And if somebody else wants to learn from us, we're happy to share it, because this is something that we could take to a Disrupt conference. We are disrupting athletics. We're slapping the face of athletics, top to bottom, saying, remember why you became what you became. You have lost your identity and your purpose. Why do we do this? Because right now, it's idol worship. It's idol worship. Watch the stands, everyone, on Sunday when you're watching football, which I do. Love it. People find their identity in this. That guy who's covered from head to toe in cheese for the Packers, he's lost himself. I'm not saying like he's a bad person, but is that the most important thing in your life? For some people it is. If I'm going to get in a fist fight and beat the hell out of 2 people over a football game, I've lost who I'm supposed to be.
So, if I could, I think there's one dynamic in sports. So I mentioned I coached my son's team. Over the last 8 years, dozens of tournaments, hundreds of games. We've had 2 incidences in 8 years that were something like where parents got involved in an ugly way. 2 over hundreds of games. And I think when we hear these stories about parents getting involved, they are fewer and far between than I think the attention and the value we give to them.
Oh, absolutely.
So looking at what UMary is trying to do, one from the student athletes here, I'd like to know what is your most proud moment, or the accomplishment you're most proud of in your athletic career, whether that's in high school or at the University of Mary. And then for Jerome, what is the plan to try to shift that narrative about giving more attention to our positive stories and not those negative stories as much?
So I'm just really proud to be a part of our team, and I'm really proud of our team. We had a really good conference meet this past year. Our coach was voted Coach of the Year for our conference and everything, and we did really well. And we went in there to have fun, and we went in there to win. And it was just I would say conference is probably one of my proudest moments. Just with my team, we were full of energy, cheering each other on, and yeah, that was just a great time, a good memory.
So just like Sarah, obviously I'm really proud to be here. It was my own decision to come here, so that's one of my prouder moments. But my proudest moment in athletics would be my freshman year. We were wrestling Moorhead State at home. I had been out of wrestling completely because I broke a bone in my hand for 2 months, and I put on a little bit of weight, probably 20, almost 30 pounds. So I was looking a little bigger, and Coach Aho's like, can you wrestle 197 this weekend? I was a 174 pounder. And I was like, yeah, I'll go out there. Well, after the first period, I'm huffing and puffing really bad, but I ended up winning that match in the last 3 seconds? And that match ended up winning the duel for us. And when was the last time we had beat Moorhead? Never. So I felt pretty proud at that moment, winning that duel against Moorhead at 197. I don't know, a lot of you don't really understand weight, how it works in wrestling, but going up 25 pounds is a lot of weight. So yeah, that would be my moment.
Thank you. Then, Jerome, is there a plan to kind of
Yes.
to give more attention to the positive stories and the good that come from sport rather than the negative stories?
Tyler, you might be one of the best question askers I've met, and a great MC.
I agree.
For Tyler, clap for him. Clap for the guy. He is correcting all of my failures. I showed these pictures not so much that I'm saying this is what athletics is, but to force us to admit that there's something wrong. 99% of athletics is civil and seems to be good. Seems to be good. But we have to ask that question, what is it that the participants are thinking? Now, you've only had 2 parent incidences in 8 years. Amen. There should be none. But I coached long enough that every single week I saw a dad push his son into a corner and say, "What the hell was wrong with you out there? Why are you wrestling so poor?" I saw dads walking back and forth a chain link fence for a football game, cussing their kid's name. What the hell is going on? That a dad is doing this towards his son. And Austin and I and Coach Aho could tell you stories of other teammates that we saw this happen. Sarah could probably tell you stories of the family that was psycho, and this girl didn't even want to swim, but she just did it because dad and mom made her. Do you see what I'm getting at? And if we don't give the freedom to release athletics to its original purpose, we are creating disordered people. And we're creating a disordered culture that is saying, now this is my favorite one. Everybody write this down. This one is great. If you find your identity in doing, and then you don't, you're not. If you find your identity in doing, and then you don't, you're not. So if dad is teaching me to find my identity in being a good wrestler, and I can't do that, I haven't been given natural abilities to do that, and then I don't do that, I don't even exist. That's why we have to show the respect of the person in simply being. I love you and respect you because you are who you are. Now, I also want you to be great. But it isn't about me. When I coached my wrestlers, it wasn't about, if you don't do this, Jerome Richter looks bad, and St. Mary's High School is going to look bad. No. I failed you if you don't reach your highest potential. Proudest moment, Austin had his proudest moment. I'm going to give you my proudest moment coaching. Johnny Schwartz, who was a UMary alumni, graduate who wrestled out at the University of Mary, not a very talented kid. But he worked so hard and was so diligent, and he placed 6th in the state of North Dakota at the state tournament, better than any state champ I ever coached. Because he did everything, and he grew in character that now he has a job, he's got his master's degree, he's married and living a good life because he became a good man because of wrestling. He doesn't have a trophy for it, but that's what matters, is he has the discipline. So,
Thank you. All right, time for one more question, and last question we ask every week. I'll give it to Kate.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for being here and letting us know what's going on at the University of Mary in terms of athletics. We always ask the same last question to everyone that comes here. I'll probably ask it to you guys too. We need to get these guys to stay here. So whatever you can do, find them a girlfriend, get them a job, whatever. Okay.
I don't have problems.
But what can we, and we'll start with student athletes and Jerome at the end. What can we, as the Bismarck Mandan and 1 Million Cups community, do to help you succeed?
So like I said before, I really think that Bismarck and Mandan is growing, and so just to continue to keep growing and achieving more things throughout the community, I think will really help all the students at the University of Mary to become more involved in everything. And yeah, having all those volunteer opportunities for us too.
So I would say for an academic standpoint, keep providing us with ways to learn and grow in the way that we are deciding to go in life with our job or whatever we want to do, I guess. But and a wrestling standpoint, be a part of the MAC mob, get out to the University of Mary campus and pack the MAC.
Go ahead, Kevin. He's well trained. The biggest thing, Kate, everyone, is cheer for us. Some of you are fans, come. If you're not a fan, still support what we're doing. Find out more about what we're doing. We know that education is the way to do so many things, and we know the important role we play in the Bismarck-Mandan area. And we have to do our job. We're called to do our job, and we're going to continue the mission of the sisters to provide for the educational, religious, and cultural needs of this place and beyond. And so we're here. We're going to keep improving. We're going to keep producing young people like these two, and hopefully that fills our community. And guess what? Hastings, Minnesota needs people like him too. And so they're coming here. Some of them are going back. Some are staying. We need to spread this much wider than Bismarck-Mandan for our culture to take hold. So thank you.
All right, and that is everything we have this week. If you want to interested in presenting or know somebody who is, please apply to be a speaker at 1millioncups.com. We're back next week, same place, same time. Have a great rest of the week. Thank you.
You can't stop me 'cause of my